This is an introductory lecture of autonomic nervous system pharmacology. There are two main types of nervous system, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, which is further composed of autonomic and somatic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is composed of sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. There are two main subdivisions of autonomic nervous system and it is involuntary in nature. The sympathetic nervous system, which is mainly concerned with the fight or flight response, is composed of thoracolumbar outflow from the thoracic and lumbar segments of the spinal cord, mainly from the T1 to L2, and norepinephrine is the main neurotransmitter involved here, while in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is mainly concerned with the rest and digest response, there is craniosacral outflow and 90% of the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers originate from the vagus nerve and the remaining are from the S2 to S4 segments of the spinal cord, and acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter. Sympathetic nervous system is composed of two paravertebral chains of ganglia which lie close to the spinal cord. So there are short preganglionic fibers while the postganglionic fibers are long. While in the parasympathetic nervous system, the ganglia are located near the effector organ, so there are long preganglionic fibers, while the postganglionic fibers are short as compared to the sympathetic nervous system. The neurotransmitter will act on certain types of the receptors to produce its effects, and there are two types of autonomic receptors located on the effector organs. The cholinergic are for the parasympathetic nervous system, while adrenergic or adrenoceptors are concerned with the sympathetic nervous system. The cholinergic receptors are further classified as muscarinic receptors and nicotinic receptors. Muscarinic receptors are metabotropic receptors. It means they are G protein coupled receptors linked with the different types of G proteins, while nicotinic are concerned with the ion channels, so they are ionotropic receptors. Muscarinic receptors can be further classified as M1, M2 and M3. M1 are GQ coupled receptors located on the gastric parietal cells, and when there is activation of M1 receptors, it interact with the G protein and activates phospholipase C, which leads to the production of second messengers inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. IP3 inositol triacylphosphate causes an increase in intracellular calcium and which will interact to inhibit or stimulate certain enzymes to produce its effects. M2 receptors are linked with inhibitory G proteins and they are located mainly on the cardiac cells, while the M3 receptors are GQ coupled located on smooth muscles and exocrine glands. Nicotinic receptors are of two subtypes. Type 1 is located on autonomic ganglia, neurons of central nervous system and adrenal medulla, while the second type is located on the neuromuscular junctions. Adrenoceptors or adrenergic receptors are of alpha and beta subtypes. Alpha are further classified as alpha 1 and alpha 2, and beta are classified as beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. Now we will discuss the different effects of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system on different organs of the body. Like the sympathetic nervous system produce mydriasis, pupillary dilation in the eye, as the dilator pupillae muscle is supplied by the sympathetic nervous system superior cervical ganglion. Then there will be dilation in the bronchioles as the person needs more oxygen during the sympathetic response, while the adrenal medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine during the sympathetic activation, and kidney secretes renin. Sympathetic effects on heart are increased heart rate and increased contractility, while in GIT there is decreased contractility and increased sphincter stones. Similarly, in the bladder there will be decreased contractility of the detrusor muscle, and sphincter and trigone will be constricted as there is no need to pass the urine. These effects are mediated by different types of receptors acting on different organs. The sympathetic effects on the blood vessels are of two types. There will be vasoconstriction in the blood vessels supplying the skin, mucous membranes and GIT, as these organs do not need much blood during emergency situations, while there will be vasodilation in skeletal muscles as skeletal muscles need more blood so the person can run off easily during emergency situation. The effects of parasympathetic system are mostly opposite to that of the sympathetic nervous system, as there will be the miosis or pupillary constriction in the eye, and ciliary muscles will be contracted to accommodate for the near vision. Bronchioles will be constricted as there is no much need of oxygen during the rest or digest system. There will be increased secretions of the glands, which are mainly the lacrimal, salivary and gastrointestinal glands, and in GIT there will be increased contractions and sphincters will be relaxed. In the heart there will be decreased heart rate and decreased contractility, while in the bladder detrusor muscle will be contracted and sphincters will be relaxed and the person can easily void the urine. When abnormalities are produced in these effects, we use certain types of drugs to treat these abnormalities. The drugs acting on the parasympathetic nervous system can be cholinergic agonists if they have acetylcholine-like effect, and they are cholinergic antagonists if the effects produced are opposite to that of acetylcholine. Similarly, in the sympathetic nervous system, the drugs producing effects like the norepinephrine are adrenergic agonists, while adrenergic antagonists are those drugs which effects are opposite to that of norepinephrine, which we will discuss inshallah in our upcoming lectures. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.